You're definitely on the right path, Rocky. In dealing with all these obstacles, you make it seem so easy. How do you make it seem so easy? How do you do what you do? What is that thing about you, Rocky?
Again, this is Under the Groove podcast. This is where you will sit to learn something about something. Today, we have Miss Kat Clark-Perkins. Okay. This sister has a lot to say. She has a lot to share with us. Her experience is worthwhile. Pay attention. You may get something from this. I'm pretty sure you will. Oh my God. She has a resume that would be the size of a book. All right. It's a book. I can go and say that. It's okay to say that, right? Okay. So I want to bring this sister in for a number of reasons. One in particular is her involvement in the community and the other programs and services that cater to the community. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. You may have some additional information you may want to share with us about your life and, so forth and so on. All right. Take the floor. Let the people know who you are.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me to this platform, Under the Groove podcast.
You're more than welcome.
And I want to thank my sister, Sister Soldier, for introducing me to you and to your family. And
all right.
God is just so good.
It worked, right?
Yes. I always give the Lord the credit, the honor, the glory, and his son, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit anytime before I speak. But again, my name is Catherine Clark-Perkins. My nickname, childhood name is Kitty Cat.
All right.
I grew up in South Central LA from the Crenshaw district.
All right.
From 37th Street Elementary, Audubon Junior High, and Crenshaw High School.
Whoa. That's a good start. All right. You come out the Crenshaw area. That's a nice community, actually. It's still pretty much, I think blacks still pretty much do their thing over there, right? Businesses over in, the community is trying to thrive, I'm pretty sure, right?
Absolutely.
Are you a part of that community still?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, let us know about some of the things you do. Well, before we get to that, you want to share your life with us, why you're involved in some of the things you're involved in. Let's touch bases on that first.
Okay. Absolutely. When I graduated from high school, I've always wanted to follow in my mother's footsteps because she was the secretary. She was working for the Marshal's Department, then it merged into the Sheriff's Department. And so I started working for the courts and then transferred to the Sheriff's Department. So I've been doing public service, county service for over, I'll say 34 years.
That's a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I thank the God, not bragging. September 28th, I just had a birthday. Libra sky.
Hey, happy belated birthday.
56 years old.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't quit playing with us.
So I got out into the community instead of the government, work that I was doing for many years. I was wrongfully terminated because of my relationship with my husband. My husband, he's doing life in prison. He's been down for over 40 years.
Wow.
Yes. And so we've been married. We've been together now for 15 years. But what does my relationship with my husband have to do with my work performance?
Right.
So, it's always the attitude, the behavior, and character. But my character speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So the work that I do in the community now, reentry, I'm with Ceasefire, Southern California Ceasefire Committee.
Yeah.
Work also.
We're familiar with Ceasefire.
Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
With Ben Taco, Tim, and I got to give a shout out to Twin, APU. So those are my brothers.
Let me jump in and give a shout out to Tim and Taco as well as Twin. Hope your brothers are doing good.
Yes. So I thank them. I'm a peace ambassador.
Oh, yeah.
And so I never joined a gang. My brothers and them been in gangs. I'm the middle child. So I'm the only girl. So I've always hung around gangsters, gang members, but I never joined a gang. So for the Lord to call me into this work and to be in the community doing the work, I never imagined this. But I thank God for being in the community with the people because my people are my people.
That's
and
right.
I want to help my people.
There you
So helping myself, because I've experienced a lot of violence in
Mm.
the community. And so they just did my story with the Office of Violence Prevention, because I'm a survivor, Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. And so when I got introduced to that community, which is, we're in 9 states. And so I always start off and say, I am a survivor of gun violence, gang violence, suicide, sexual assault, domestic violence, intimate partner violence. You name a whole list of resume I have experienced, went through it, but I thank God now I'm on my healing journey.
All right. That's a lot. So that's how it started for you. Was it your experiences earlier on that got you into what you're into now, in terms of all these violences, domestic? Did you say domestic?
Yes,
Gun violence, gang violence, domestic partner, all that. There was an experience you had that
Yes,
brought you into that?
absolutely. As a child,
Mhm.
when I was 5 years old, and I'll just start from there.
Okay.
Being a child survivor, one of our neighbors had me sitting on his lap. And so when my dad and mom came out to the apartment building, they lifted me up and they seen this penis.
Mhm.
And so at 5 years old, they took me in the house. You know, back then you didn't have counselors, you didn't have
Right.
therapy or anything.
Right.
So even as a child, you're looking like, what did
What's
I do?
happened?
Right. Yeah. So even moving on further up into when I went to junior high, when I went to high school, and then a gang member, you know, put a gun on me, was like, and I blamed my cousin. I didn't forgive her for a long time. I'm like, you knew that they were going to rape me. You knew that they were going to do this. You knew that they were going to do that. And it took me a long time to forgive her, because when a gun pointed at you and I didn't do anything, and I'm like, my Lord, why has this happened to me? You know, a lot of young Black girls, your innocence is taken.
Mm-hmm.
And you blame yourself. So I went through a deep depression. I went through sadness, anxiety, and I'm in high school at this time. And so I'm like, where are they taking me? What's going on? He like, you run, I'm gonna shoot you. And so they took me to this house, and the guy, his homegirls, they came in, banging on the window. I was like, oh, thank you, God, I'm able to get out. And they're like, oh no, cuz no, it's all right. And I'm like, I'm saying to myself, I'm trying to get up out of here. I'm like, I'm trying to escape.
Mm-hmm.
And so even with that, you know, I was sexually assaulted by a basketball player walking home from Crenshaw High School. He's like, hey, you know, I need to go in the house and get something. Come on. But I'm not thinking that he's about to do that. And then at Dorsey High School at a football game, one of the football players jammed me up. And so all these things I never shared with my mother. So she always tried to protect me. So those things that happened to me. And so when my auntie, she was like, you was raped. And I was like, how did you know? She said, because it happened to me.
Mm.
And I'm like, wow, thank you, auntie. So she was my safe haven, that person that I could talk to at that time. But I didn't share that with my mom till I was over 30, 35 years old.
And you mean to tell me during all that, you probably didn't share with anyone?
I did.
So you held that's something you carried for a long time.
Yes, for a long time. I never shared it.
What has your healing been like? Can you speak to that?
Yes. What my healing's been like is when I was wrongfully terminated, and then when I went to Sacramento with Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. And so when I went to that conference, and my husband was in prison, and he was like, do you know what you're doing? And I was like, what do you mean, what am I doing? He was like, babe, I'm in here as the shooter.
Mm.
And I was like, what do that have to do with my healing? Yes, you in there for murder or double murder.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the victim. I'm a survivor. I need some healing. And so I made a decision. I'm like, I'm going. So a lot of times when they have these nonprofit organizations that want to lock individuals up and throw the key away and don't ever want them to get out. So even though I said I'm a survivor of many of these things, I'm also a mother that lost a son to gun violence just recently. He He was shot on 68th and Hoover just
Our
recently,
condolences.
and we just buried him October 11th. So
Wait a minute.
yeah, my mother that lost a son. Yep, I raised little Michael. His mother gave him to me when he was 3 years old. So even though I'm his stepmother, but I'm his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I helped. And even she says, Mama Cat. I'm his Mama Cat. So when I met their father, he was in prison. And when he got out of prison, he had 2 sons. But when he was in prison and when he down my number, I had just lost my son, 4 years old. And I'm like, Lord, why are all these things happening to me? Why? I lost my only son at 4 years old. He was born 1992, and the Lord took him 1996. He was born in 92, so he was 4 years old. And so when the Lord took him, I was grieving real bad. So you can imagine that your only child dying in your arms in the hospital. The Lord told me, I'm going to take him, but are you still going to continue to serve me? And I said, yes, Lord. I still serve you. I was 27 years old. So that was 29 years ago. I still carry that even now. That was my baby and my only child. So when I met this man, a man from behind the wall, he called me and he said he dialed the wrong number. The wrong number. And I thought he was my son's father. So you can imagine the state of mind that I was going through. You have a collect call. And I took the collect call, but he was in prison. And they said, Sharon Hosendorf. I don't know Sharon Hosendorf, but it's still in my mind. I'm thinking he's San Antonio because that's my son's father. But when he said, oh, I was watching Creflo Dollar on the TV, and I'm a minister from the church. And so I accepted the call, and he was like, oh, would you write me? And I was like, sure. But also, who does that? Just meet a stranger from prison calling you. And my mom was like, why are you attracted to them? I said, I don't know. Ask God. Here I'm by myself in the home grieving. I have no children. I'm by myself. And I'm working for the courts. And I go visit him. Immediately when he gets out of prison, he comes to my home. And my pastor marries me and him. And he told me he only had one child, but he had a daughter that was 8 years old. But he also had 2 boys that he didn't tell me about.
A total of 3 children.
He had 3 children. He only told me about one. So I married him April 1st, April Fool's Day, 1998. Ain't that something? April Fool's Day.
Is this the guy you're married to?
No.
Okay. I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm not trying to throw no salt on nobody, but I'm like, hey, okay, all right. Oh,
that's
wow.
the one I'm talking about now. It's my 3rd ex-husband. I've been married 4 times.
And you're no longer married to the guy that's doing the double life?
I'm married to him now.
Okay.
Still in prison.
But that was your 3rd ex-husband with the 3 kids?
Correct.
Okay.
Come to find out, he got like 7 kids.
Oh, shit. So
like
3.
They say, when you start off with a lie, it's going
to end with a lie.
Exactly. So this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And my 3rd ex-husband, it was domestic violence. Talking about emotional, mentally, psychological,
physical, on the above.
Yeah. And so from that marriage, the Lord blessed me with 2 daughters. I have a 26-year-old daughter right now and a 25-year-old daughter right now as we speak from that marriage. But mentally did a lot of damage because of the relationship that I had with their father, what he put us through. Yeah. And
your daughters have been traumatized as a result as well?
Yes. They still traumatized from me wanting to kill their dad, from seeing me walking around with a knife because he pushed me. Like I can Tina Turner. What's love got to do with it? I was in love with that man, but he just wouldn't stop cheating. You cannot make a man stay with you. You cannot make a man love you. At the time, I didn't even want to be here. I was just so gone. That's why I said I'm a suicide survivor, and I would look at my babies like, Lord, I can't. I was working full time. I was working for the sheriffs. I was going to school, working on my master. And this man was just something else. And the crazy part about it, I would catch him all the time. He said, "Oh, I'm out working." And I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready to take the girls to, and they 4 and 5 years old, getting ready to take them to acting school. And I'm driving right down the street. And all of a sudden, the spirit say, look, your husband walking out this woman's house. And immediately, rage. I seen him where I just put my foot on the gas to run him over. And my baby said, Mommy, Daddy, they don't know about that. They 5 and 4 years old.
Right.
So how many times did I try to kill him? Over 5 times. Never succeeded. Thank God, because I would be in prison, right?
Yeah.
But the damage.
That's the reason you didn't. Right.
Yes. So I share my story. I no longer stay in silence because the spirit of fear, even though we have the fear, but he said, I give you the spirit, power of love and a sound mind. But I told him, I said, either you're going to be dead or I'm going to be dead, or we both going to be dead and our kids are not going to have any parents. And I just couldn't take it any longer. And I told my children, and my daughter was like, Mommy, don't go back to that. Don't go back. One child saying, go back. And the other one saying, no. Because he kept saying, tell your mama, get back with me. Tell your mama, get back with me. Enough is enough.
That was it.
And they were in middle school when I was like, you know what? I'm done. No more. I can't take it anymore. Psychologically, I can't do it because I was always raised that no divorce. Stay with them. Stick it out.
No matter what.
No matter what. And I'm just
and yeah, that must come from your parents.
Exactly.
You know, because I realized, I recall that being the way it was. You know, in the 70s especially, you know, watched my mom go through the same thing.
Yes.
You know, watch the same thing, you know, and it wasn't meant, you know, grandmother, great grandmother can't divorce. But it wasn't until, like you say, she had enough. And, you know, okay, damn what y'all talking about. Love you, respect you, but no.
When I seen my mother and my father, my dad had a cocaine problem. And my father, he didn't give me the love and show me the love that I wanted to receive as a little girl. And so I was always looking for love in the wrong places because I didn't receive the love that I wanted from my father. But the best gift that my mother, she took me to church and she introduced me to the Lord. When she was 18 years old, she was baptized with me in her womb. And so there was a calling upon my life. But at the same time, when you're growing up and you want the Father's love. And so when my dad had a drug problem, we went over to my grandmother's house. She stayed off of 26 in Cimarron. And I remember going up the stairs and my mother caught my father in the room with another woman. They had separated just for a minute. And it's me and my 2 brothers. And when my mother walked in the room and seen that woman with my father, my mother tried to grab my dad, and my dad grabbed the chain off my mother's neck. And as a kid, you're looking like your parents are fighting, like what's going on? And he was like, Lupe, mine, and my grandmother was just like, y'all just go, y'all just leave. And I'm like, wow, my dad and my mom, like it's over. And so when your grandparents have a favorite, my brother, my oldest brother named Buggy, he's homeless to this day, living on the streets. But cocaine is his baby. Where he get it from? My daddy. He had it in the house. He had weed in the house, alcohol in the house. But my brother chose that.
Excuse me.
He could change, but that's his addiction. But he'll send me a text. Like I got a text last night and I'm getting emotional. Hey, sis, you up? But I help him. He has addiction, but I love my brother. But I know something happened to my brother, whether he was in prison or he was little, something happened to him. But I don't like the way my father treats him. But I'll always be there for my brother. Always. I love him. No matter what.
Man. Yeah. 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 It's just, I don't know. It's just fascinating sitting here, just, listening to you. Just you measure strength, man. It's, it just shows resilience, exemplifies, man, just, your spirit, shit. Yeah.
It's real. These, how our culture, we always told that you don't say anything, what stays in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother called me last week and was like, why are you putting your story on Facebook? My mom is about to be 75 years old and her memory is going. It was in 2010. My mother had a stroke and I went to visit her in Phoenix. And we was at the church and we was at the hairdresser. And she came and sat next to me. We had a table like this. And she was like, who did your hair? And I looked at her like, what do you mean who did my hair, Mama? And she like, you sure is pretty. And instantly the spirit within me was like, do not panic. Listen to her. And I'm like, thank you. We was at the hairdresser. I had my 2 daughters because I loved my husband at the time. And I said, we was at the hairdresser, Mom. And she was like, how did we get here? And I was like, my God. I started praying. Please don't take my mama. Not right now. I can't deal with that. I lost my son in 1996. I lost my grandmothers, but at that time, 2010, I just immediately started praying like, Lord, don't take my mama now. I can't take it. I'm like, this pill right here, I cannot handle, God. That was a big one that you took my only son. And even I had to deal with that. But my mama, right now, I can't deal with this of her, because Alzheimer's and dementia runs in my family. And my mama's young, and I'm like, no, Lord, okay. So I called my pastor, which is her husband. I said immediately, let me take you home. Let's go home. I said, Dad, Mom, something is wrong. I don't know what's going on. And come to find out, they said that she had a minor stroke. The cholesterol and the air wasn't going to her brain. And I just said, my God, for me to be there to witness that and to experience at such a time like that in 2010, that was 15 years ago. So moving even up now, she's her memory even now, she repeats some things. And over the phone, she said, who sings that song? Yes, Jesus. And I'm like, Mama, that's your husband's song. Her husband wrote 5 albums just now. And so the Lord just like, be patient. Love her. I don't know when he's going to take her. But all these things that when the Lord do come to me and my cousin, like, I don't want that job that you have. That I had to go to Oakland and anoint her mom. I had to go anoint my dad's mom. I had to, my auntie Barbara, bless her soul, I seen her take her last breath. So all these things that I had to witness and go through, and I'm like, was the Lord preparing me for? So even I told my mother, I said, the work that I'm doing now, the Lord had me going to prisons and teaching. And some people are not okay with that. But they didn't call me to go into the prisons to teach and to minister to his people. They didn't call me to go into the community to sit down at tables. And even with Sister Soldier bringing me to her table of love and joy and the many different things. So I share my story that I'm not afraid, the things that happened to me to help empower another young Black woman, teenager, or whoever, but the positivity. But I'm not walking in shame or guilt or living in remorse or regret in that form or that fashion. But I'm sharing my truth and getting the healing through love and forgiveness.
I want to ask you about, some of the things you do in the community. I noticed, or I've been informed that you're a life coach, huh?
Yes.
Amongst other things, you're a life coach. What does that entail? What kind of people do you work with?
As a life coach, I never thought or imagined that the Lord would call me to be his life coach. And you might say, well, Miss Cat, what do you mean by that? As the female version of Moses, the female version of Elijah, Prophet Elijah. And I said, Prophet Elijah even wanted to commit suicide because of Jezebel. And as Apostle Paul was the chief sinner, and as a Samaritan woman. But I never thought that by me booking in inmates as a civilian, that the Lord would have me going into the prisons, teaching, and giving them acronyms such as watch your words, your actions, your thoughts, your company, and your heart. Giving them acronyms such as pray to God, resist the devil, always pray, yield to God, not to temptation. I never thought, I said, Lord, is this a punishment for me to go into the prisons? Because I was always working for the courts and didn't care what relationship or who you was with, hanging in the communities, in the hoods and different things.
It's like irony.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. That's what you just said. So when I go into the prisons and when I teach, and it's a circle of men. Not only do I go to the men's prison, the Lord sent me to the women's prison too. And when I go to the women's prison, I said, my God, there's not that many Black facilitators such as myself. I'm the only Black facilitator. And I volunteer. This one, I don't even get paid. I go on my own. When I sit in the triage with the sisters, when I share my story, they open up and say that they was molested at an early age. And I had one young lady tell me that her father tried to beat the gay out of her. But if you would sit and have a conversation with your daughter, her dad was in the Marines, and find out that she'd been molested from a child, as to why she turned to women or why she joined the gang versus beating her and whooping her to where she did crime and crying out for help, that she's in prison. So I thank the Lord for the ministry, any way that I can help people to come out, to give them some type of healing. So when I share my story, they say, thank you for sharing your story. I have a voice now because I didn't have a voice. So that's the life coach. And I have one young lady she was an Asian descent. She said, Miss Cat, I'm so glad that you walked away because she said, I caught my husband in the bed with my sister's co-worker. And she said, I seen the car in the driveway and I opened my house and go up the stairs and they getting it on. She said, I just seen something and just grabbed it and slid his over the head or something. And she said she went on the run and then she had an affair with his, but he survived that, but she had an affair with his best friend and she tried to leave that, but the best friend came to the place and took the husband out. Said, you hurt my heart, and set her up for the crime, and that's why she's in prison. So she said, I take accountability because why did I go have an affair to pay back from my husband? So these many different things that the Lord had me a part of, a lot of different organizations that I have encountered and share and do the work and share my story. So as a life coach.
Tripping off a life, black woman's point of view. Can't afford to slip on legs, break it loose. Ooh, I think we really need a truce. A lot of mixing love all up in that juice. Status legendary, powerful, very divine. Intervene until it's scary. I gotta pay my condolences. Rest in power, Bloody Mary. Flowing through my veins, cycle of pain. Confident with all intent, but not vain. We gotta make a change. Hard to survive if things remain the same. Black and beautiful as ever, but naked all the time. No, never. Young queen, you fine. We wanna see your business untied. To all my kings, get off them skinny jeans. Cut the sack, some slack. See, we remember how it used to be. We want you to bring that back. 7 years, the day's long, the thrill is gone. See, this is me letting you hang on. She gon' sing that song. Rock's flexing her strong. Music is my method, never neglected. But I use it to relax when it's hectic. Flexing her vibe. Heart full of love and it's all the way live. Rocks gon' keep it righteous and keep it true. It's not what they say, only what they do. Roxy the Duchess, you see that Roxy the Duchess.